As you probably know, Diddy is currently being held at Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, facing horrific charges including trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation for illegal activities. Diddy's legal team is fighting back after 2 judges denied him bail. They even offered a $50 million package to guarantee his appearance at trial. Along with defending Diddy to a judge, Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, has been doing his best to defend Diddy to the press, seemingly speaking more with TMZ than to the judge himself. He recently did a sit-down interview with TMZ for their upcoming documentary on Diddy in this case, and the lawyer touched on several things, which we'll break down in this video. Firstly, Diddy's lawyer is saying that the US attorney is trying to paint these horrific, erotic parties and gatherings as a much more dark, twisted thing than they actually were. He says, while attorneys call them F-offs, back in the 70s, they would have simply been called three-ways. While referring to them as three-ways, his lawyer actually admits to these F-offs happening quite frequently. He says he spoke to the male erotic workers involved in the F-offs, and they said everything was consensual, amongst themselves, Diddy, and the victim named in the trial. He also seemingly confirms that the main victim within the trial is Cassie. I have a video breaking down all the charges brought against Diddy, and I'll leave it in the description if you want some more context on everything he's being accused of. But what's important to note is that the indictment against him only includes one victim, and several months prior to Diddy being incarcerated, his ex-girlfriend Cassie filed a civil suit against him, which included many of the same accusations made against Diddy that the US government is now placing on him in this criminal RICO case. Diddy's lawyer also says the erotic worker who said that these were just three-ways between him, Diddy, and Cassie also claims that no one was too high or too drunk during the F-offs. It'll be interesting to see if these male erotic workers get up on the stand and testify against Diddy, or if they'll be in his favor. Because if you recall, one of the crimes Diddy's being charged with is trafficking. The definition of trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a person for the purpose of a commercial erotic act. His lawyer did confirm that Diddy would be testifying as well. He said no one will be able to recount these F-offs and parties better than Diddy himself, and his side of the story involves love, horror, and heartbreak. We know that dozens of high-profile figures within the industry have commented on or have been to Diddy's parties. Everyone from Ellen DeGeneres to Will Smith to Jay-Z. While no high-profile figure has been named in these indictments, it's interesting to think that when Diddy takes a stand, will he expose horrific stories or involvement from other famous people to get himself a reduced sentence? Or on the contrary, will any high-profile attendees of his previous parties be called to testify against Diddy himself? Now, while Diddy's going to be able to tell his side of the story, he's also going to be cross-examined, and several topics covered will be the Cassie abuse video, the F-off parties, and accusations that he blew up a car belonging to one of Cassie's exes, which we now know was Kid Cudi. Diddy's lawyer was also asked about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil that the FBI found during a raid in Diddy's house. He claims the number 1,000 was blown way out of proportion, even though the US government confirmed to have found that many bottles. He said it was significantly less, but this question truly seemed to stump him. Harvey from TMZ questioned the lawyer's insistence that these F-offs were truly just innocent three-ways between consenting adults. Harvey asked, if they were truly just three-ways, how do you explain the 1,000 bottles of baby oil found in Diddy's home? The lawyer began hesitating and stuttering. With a confused, dazed look on his face, Diddy's own lawyer literally said word for word, I can't imagine it's thousands. I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything. I don't know what you need 1,000 for. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. So while Diddy's own lawyer openly admits that he has no idea why Diddy would need 1,000 bottles of baby oil, he also claims that Diddy bought these bottles in bulk from Costco, similar to how most individuals buy household products in bulk at Costco. I'm not sure if the next part was due to subconscious defeat or if he thought that this was a good defense, but Diddy's lawyer followed this Costco baby oil bulk order statement up by saying, look, people have intercourse, it's normal, and we need it to survive. Now, shortly after, a spokesperson for Costco told TMZ none of the company's US locations even carry baby oil, and a quick search of the store site shows nothing akin to baby oil sold at Costco. Diddy's lawyer says the feds are just looking to take down Diddy because he's a successful black man, and when they couldn't nail him for anything related to taxes or his business empire, they started investigating what he does in the bedroom. The lawyer said, here's a man who has made some of the most important businesses owned by a black man. Ran, owned, created, founded. The vision was that of a black man. And what have we done? We have reduced it, not everyone, but large amounts of our society, to being a monster that should make us shake in our boots. It seems a little ridiculous to simply chalk these horrific accusations up to simply not being able to nail him for anything business related, so instead having to go after his criminal activities in the bedroom. When his lawyer was requesting Diddy receive bond and be released from prison as he awaits trial, he also spoke on the trafficking charge Diddy is faced with and the horrific details of what he allegedly did to Cassie. He defended these actions by stating, "Mr. Combs wrote a very large check to someone he was in a relationship with for 10 years. People got in line for checks. I had no idea. 12 victims? I didn't know. I'm happy there's only one. Mr. Combs is not a perfect person. These toxic relationships were mutual. Now he is trying to be a better person for the rest of his days. If there's one thing we've seen, we should stand with people who are trying to get the help that they need." The lawyer also defended Diddy's abuse against Cassie by saying, "Two people were in a hotel room. An issue was that Mr. Combs had more than one girlfriend, okay? Victim 1 was looking through his phone and saw that, then hit him in the head with a cell phone and took his clothing, so he comes out of the hotel room in a towel. These two people were in love. Victim 1 ended up marrying the trainer that Mr. Combs got for her. They had been cheating on each other for years, but now she had 2 kids with the trainer. Years later, she realized she had a good thing with Mr. Combs. She has her lawyer call his lawyer and say, she has written a book, but if you want to buy the rights, you'll have the rights for $30 million. We have a recorded conversation. It did not go well for her and her lawyer. November 2023, she sues. When he contacts witnesses, it's not to stop a criminal investigation, it's to not be seen that one. Why is it depicted as a one-sided thing? There's 30 million reasons, $1 a piece. She said, I'm going to write a book, you can buy the rights. Is it trafficking if everyone wants to be there? No. We don't want the federal government in our bedroom. The kidnapping? We spoke to the victim. She didn't use that word to us. Now, what's interesting is that around the same time that Diddy was hit with that civil lawsuit from Cassie in November of 2023, he was also receiving a key to New York City from the mayor, Eric Adams. You fast forward 1 year, and both of them just got indicted by the same U.S. Attorney's Office, the Southern District of New York, with Mayor Adams being indicted on campaign finance, bribery, and conspiracy charges. And while Diddy's lawyers claims to have spoken to erotic workers who were involved in Diddy's F-offs, TMZ reported that one of Diddy's alleged encounters with an erotic worker was videotaped, and that tape is now in the hands of federal prosecutors. Sources told TMZ that the male erotic worker met with the feds in New York City and signed a proffer agreement, which allows him to speak to federal investigators without fear of being prosecuted. The male explained how he was contacted to engage in an F-off involving himself, Diddy, and a woman. TMZ sources also say the man described the type of substances Diddy allegedly liked to consume during these erotic sessions, and the erotic worker also spoke on one specific encounter that he claims was caught on tape. Allegedly, the three-way happened in May 2023, when the erotic worker claims he flew from Atlanta to Miami to meet up with Diddy and the woman, and he ended up having intercourse with her while Diddy filmed the encounter. TMZ reports the erotic worker had a copy of the video from that alleged encounter and turned it over to the agents who met with him. What's interesting about the erotic worker's account of the story is that it actually does align with what Diddy's lawyer told TMZ about the F-offs. Aside from the fact that Diddy's lawyer used the term three-way instead of F-offs, the dynamic of how the lawyer described it relative to how the erotic worker described his experience was very similar. Both parties described the encounter as being with one male erotic worker, Diddy, and another woman. Now things continue to look worse for Diddy as more of his past comes to light. Another woman has recently filed a lawsuit against him, accusing him of assaulting and intimidating her over a 4-year period. She claims their interactions began in 2020 when she was invited on an all-expenses-paid trip with him, and the interactions continued through 2024. The woman alleges that Diddy and his team pursued her into meeting him in various cities, often using harassing language to make her comply. She says she suffered physical injuries, including bruises and bite marks, and accused Diddy of forcing her to take substances like horse tranquilizer, which caused her to black out. After one such incident, she claimed she became pregnant but later miscarried. According to the lawsuit, she was harassed by Diddy's associates to get an abortion, and Diddy continues to contact her to this day, attempting to control and intimidate her. The woman says she has experienced trauma, financial hardship, and physical harm and is seeking damages. Despite her efforts to distance herself after the miscarriage, she claims Diddy continued to harass her and even monitored her movements. As of now, Diddy's team has not responded to these accusations. Along with this lawsuit, a Houston law firm is also representing over 50 people who claim they were victims of assault and abuse involving Diddy and his associates. Attorney Tony Busby described the stories shared by these men and women as gut-wrenching and detailed alleged disturbing behavior at Diddy's F-off parties. Busby also mentioned that some of the accusers were reportedly minors during the incidents, though there's no evidence supporting this claim just yet. Busby plans to file a class action lawsuit on behalf of all the victims soon, and more people are expected to come forward. There have also been reports claiming that Diddy has stopped eating in jail because he's worried about being poisoned at Brooklyn's MDC. However, a source close to him says that's not true. They say Diddy is eating the regular jail food like every other inmate and isn't getting any special treatment. TMZ leaked his prison menu, which includes foods like chili mac, turkey roast, pizza, and chicken fried rice. Diddy remains in the special housing unit and has been placed on S-Watch. His lawyers insist he does not have any intention of taking his own life, and they continued to challenge his detainment as the case unfolds.